is well. I know we've been getting a lot of rain up and down the northeast coast. So wherever you are, I hope you're dry. Today, we are going to be making a coconut cake. You know, I like cooking, but I'm going to tell you something. Bacon is absolutely my favorite. So we're going to go over the ingredients quick, fast. And now because this is live, it's going to be a part 1 and part 2, because on live we can't pause it. So part 2 is going to give it time to get into the oven. So for starters, we have 4 sticks of butter. We have 3 cups of flour. What I use cake flour, and in this cake flour I have a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and it's shifted twice. I shift it twice. I have in one bowl 6 eggs. These are medium-sized eggs. In the next bowl, I have 2 egg yellows, just the egg yellows without the white. Then we have cream of coconut, and this is about, let's see, I would say about 3/4 cup of cream of coconut. We have about a 1/4 cup of sour cream. Then we have a 1/2 cup of regular milk. We have a tablespoon of coconut extract. And finally, we have about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. All right, so I'm going to go ahead on and get started. I'm sitting down, right? I'll stand up. Okay. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our butter, and we're going to go ahead and put that in the mixer. Okay, drop that butter in the mixer, and it's 4 sticks of butter. I'm going to tell you something. Once you master your ingredients to make cakes, you use the same ingredients other than when you're doing a specialty. Like this is a coconut cake, so this is not just a regular butter cake. All right? And with that, we're going to add the 2 cups of sugar. With that, okay, so in my KitchenAid right now, we have 2 cups of sugar, and we have the butter. All right? So we're going to go ahead and take that, and we're going to mix that around. Give me one moment here. It's kind of funny because this is my handle. Get yourself over here, handle. Get up there. There we go. I just didn't feel like cooking in the kitchen today. So I said, I'm going to go to the table, the dining table, to do this cooking. It's crazy because ever since the month of October came in, I've been so full of emotions almost every day, just tearing up and crying. But I'm grateful. I feel good. But we have been having a lot of rain. We have been having a lot of rain, and I can say summer is gone. Summer's gone. We're in the fall time now. And once it turns fall, then it's pretty gray outside. You know, even on sunny days, there's still a grayish outside. Hey, Ty, how you doing? Even on sunny days, there's still a grayness outside. So, with the feeling of just feeling so emotional, I said, you know what? I'm going to do a cake today. You know what old folks used to say, hey, you don't feel good, just eat a little bit sweet. Just a little bit of sweet. It'll make you feel a little bit better. So that's what I'm doing, making a coconut cake. And I like to get my butter and sugar whipped up really good. And there's so many different substitutes if you don't eat sugar. There's so many other substitutes. Hey, everybody, how you guys doing? That you can use in place of sugar. So it's going to be whipped up, 4 sticks of butter and the sugar. I'm going to go ahead on and drop in. That was my coconut extract and my vanilla extract. So I put those in as well. Okay, I'm going to just bring it on down for a minute because, you know, it gets around the sides. I'm going to let you guys see it too. Let me see if I pull it down if you can see it a little bit. I don't know. Let's see, I'm going to get it off of the sides. And off of the mixer here. I like it to be nice and fluffy. So this is considered your wet mixture, okay? And that's your eggs. That's gonna go in next with the butter and the sugar and your extract. Okay, so I'm gonna bring it back up. And I'm gonna let it fluff up a little more. For about another minute or so. So how you guys been doing? How you been doing? And I know I'm not the only one that when the fall comes and you know the holidays are approaching, that you start feeling some kind of way. And if you've ever lost loved ones, you know, this is a time when you think about them as well. As a matter of fact, what I did yesterday, I said, you know what? I miss going to church. I haven't been to church in a long time, and with the pandemic, forget it. So I said, oh man, you know, I think I miss that fellowship. It just does something. It just uplifts you in so many ways. I remember my dad used to take us to church in Brooklyn, Union Baptist Church on, 481 Decatur Street. Same church I got married in, actually, with Dr. Reverend Woods. And that would be like such a big thing. So what I did, I went online and started looking for churches in Georgia. I've been here 6 months now, and a lot of places are open. And I said, you know what, maybe I just need to get out there and just, you know, get into fellowshipping again. But hey, like everywhere else, it's virtual. Everything is online. It's online. So that physical contact is not there right now for a lot of churches. But it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Oh, this is really nice and fluffy. I'm going to show y'all. Drop it on down. It's really nice and fluffy. So I guess I gave this about 3 minutes, 4 minutes of mixing up. Let me see how I'm going to take this out. You see? It's nice and fluffy. It's nice and fluffy. That's what you want. You want it to be nice and fluffy. So the next thing I'm going to do, we're going to add the eggs. We're going to add the eggs one at a time. One at a time, okay? Oh, yeah, y'all see my Christmas tree behind me? Bam! Yep, I have my Christmas tree up because I like light. I like light, and it gives me life. It gives me life, and it uplifts my spirit. So every year, I put my tree up early. So that's one egg at a time. We put it in here. It's the second egg. I'm going to put my speed on. Now, that's a little fast. Let me leave it on 2. I was going to put it on 4. Put the third. Uh-oh, 2 of them fell in. Let me give them a chance to get mixed up in there. Yep. And all this rain. Well, listen, I thank God for the rain. I thank God for the sunshine. I thank God just for life itself. I do. All right. We're going to put another egg in. You know, once I started making cakes, I mean, now I don't even like store-bought cakes. Making your own cake, you know what's in it, less preservatives. And it's quick. It's easy to make. But you know, let me just tell you, but to master your ingredients is everything. You know how sometimes, you know, you can go to Costco or Sam's or Walmart and you know that cake. You can go to somebody's house to a party and taste the cake and you can say, oh, she got this from Costco. She got this from Sam's. It's the same ingredients. Now, one might be chocolate or whatever, different flavor, but the major ingredients is the same. So it's like a science almost, trying to get the ingredient that you want for all your cakes. So I mastered that for myself. So for all my cakes, if you taste them, you'll know, oh, this is a cake that Wardia must have made, that Lady D made. This is one of her cakes. Okay, so lastly, I have 2 yolks without the white. The reason it's only the yolks is just to give it a more yellow color. So it can have more of a yellow color when it cooks. Alrighty, looks like our wet mixture has been mixed up. And just like that, we'll spin that up. It's nice and fluffy. Everything is mixed through. So now I'm gonna go ahead on, put it on slow, and I'm gonna start to add the dry ingredient. So I'm gonna add a little bit of the flour. Remember, we have 3 cups. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of milk. That's what we do. A little bit of flour, a little bit of milk, a little bit of flour. Come on, let me help you out. You don't want to add it all at one time. You want it to incorporate slowly. A little bit of milk. Here we go. And that's mixing up nicely. Now we're going to do a little bit of flour. And now because it is a coconut cake, I have cream of coconut here. Hey, Sandy. How are you, sweetie? So I have cream of coconut. So I'm going to pour a little of the cream of coconut in there. Just a little bit at a time. Then I'm going to put a little bit more of the cake mix in here. So it's like you're alternating the dry ingredients. Now let me go ahead and put the rest of that milk in. How's that flour doing? It's doing pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and put a little more flour in. Then a little more coconut cream of coconut. And in this cream of coconut, you have coconut in here as well. Like I said, it's so easy to make your own cakes. I don't even like buying cakes when I go out. This is going to really make me smile. The month of October is only 5 days in, and I've just been filled with emotions, tearing up and all that kind of stuff. Not that anything in particular is wrong. It's just so many memories that happen this time of year that makes me emotional. All right, we're going to put the remainder of this coconut milk. I'm sorry, cream of coconut. And I'm going to turn this mixer up a bit. We're going to go ahead and mix that up a little bit better. Now, one thing I don't like, you don't want to over mix your batter. Now, I like to go ahead on and mix up the wet ingredients, and that would have been the eggs and the butter and the sugar. But as for the batter, you don't want to over mix that. You want it to be mixed just enough, okay? Alrighty, just scrape some off of what's going on. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm gonna let you see it. It's just that I'm not in my kitchen. I didn't feel like being in my kitchen. I wanted to be in the dining area, so I made space at the dining area. Just wanted a different environment. Is that all right with you guys? And I don't have a big kitchen. Remember now, I recently moved. I moved from a 3,000 square foot home to my little cottage house. I call it a cottage house because it's only like 1,200 square feet. But I like it. It's small. It's cozy. Big ain't always better. Depends on what you want. Okay, depends on what you want. Okay, I'm going to drop it down a little bit. I'm going to just bring the camera on down to let y'all kind of like see if y'all can see inside of here. Hey, Kay. Can y'all see in that bowl? Can you see in the bowl? So right now I have, see, and it's not soupy. It's not extra thick. It's nice and creamy. All the mixture's in there. So I'm going to go ahead on and I'm going to mix it up again for another maybe 30 seconds. Let me see here. Okay. Let me get everything off from the side of the bowls. This coconut cake is going to be all right. My dad used to like cakes. He used to make all kind of cakes. I tell you. When I say a daddy's girl, my dad was my first love, my everything. The one that I can say loved me unconditionally. Man, if you have somebody love you unconditionally, you're doing good, baby. You're doing good. I miss him, but it's called life, right? You got to keep going. You got to keep going. All right, so I'm going to just spin this around a little bit more, and then we're getting ready to put this in the oven. I just got to add one more ingredient to it. Let that whip. Whip it, baby, whip it. Whip it, baby, whip it. Whip it, baby, whip it. Whip it, whip it, whip it. Y'all see that? Okay, bring it on down. Okay, we about done. That's it. It wasn't bad. It didn't take a long time or anything. Okay, so let me try to scrape it off of here. And then I have sour cream is next. This is going to be kind of messy, but it's okay. Come on off. Let me get you off. And with the sour cream, we spoon that in. I always like to spoon in the sour cream last. And all of these mixtures help the cake not to be dry. Now, if I was just making a straight up butter cake, there would be another ingredient that I would add to it. But the basic of my cake ingredient is already in here. And like I said, if you don't use sugar, there's so many other substitutes that you can use to make it to your liking. All right, I'm going to take it on out here. I'm going to put it on here. Good old KitchenAid. I had this KitchenAid. Let me see. This is the big boy. I had the big boy KitchenAid for about 15 years. About 15 years. It never lets you down. Never let me down, that's for sure. Good old KitchenAid. It does the work. All right, so now there's our batter. Oh, yeah, it looks so good. So I'm going to now take the sour cream, and I'm going to stir this in. I don't whip this in or mix it in with the mixer. I like to just stir it in. There we go. This is going to be so good. Now, here's the thing. When you make cakes, you can freeze cakes. That's what I'm going to do. You know, I can't eat this whole thing. But you can make your cakes, and you can wrap it nicely and put it in the freezer for months. 4 months, at least 4 months. This won't be in there for 4 months, though. This won't be in there for 4 months. But you guys see what I'm doing? Okay, so now what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the pan. Now, I'm not using a bundt pan. Hey, everybody. I'm not using a bundt pan. I'm going to do it the old school way. When I was growing up, we had layer cakes. We had layers. So give me a moment. Let me move some stuff out the way. Give myself some room over there. And bring the pans over. All right. So we're going to do layers. We're going to do layers because it is a coconut cake. This way, I can put, turn this around properly. Okay. Because it is a coconut cake, this way I can put some of the icing or frosting inside. Inside as well. Let's do something here. There we go. That might be a little better. Better? Okay. All right. So what I did, I already buttered and I floured my pan. And I floured my pan with the same cake flour I use. I always use this cake flour. And even though I use cake flour, I still added a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Now, what's a 1/4 teaspoon? You know what a 1/2 teaspoon is? Half of that is a 1/4. So don't start messing nothing up. All right. So I'm going to take some and start to put in our pans. So we're going to go one here and one there. Then I have my other pan right next to me. We're going to do the same thing. I'm trying to even it out as much as I can so we can have layers. Then we're going to put a third scoop over here. And let's go ahead and get that third scoop over in the next pan. This is going to be a nice cake. If y'all could just smell it. Can you smell it through the camera? Okay. Another scoop over there. All right. Go ahead on. I know my grandmother used to make cakes all the time. My mom's mom. Every time we went to her house on Sunday, it was like a ritual. Go to grandma's house on Sunday. She would always have some kind of cake or cupcake in the kitchen with a cloth towel over it. Yeah, a cloth towel. I guess that kept the freshness in or the moist, I don't know. But she would always have that ready. But I love baking. I've been baking since I was about 11 years old. Yeah. Like I said, I like cooking, but baking is my favorite. It's my favorite. All right. So what I did, I preheated the oven to 350. And I'm going to turn it up to probably 360. And we're going to let this bake for about an hour and a half. Of course, checking it once it's about 45 minutes to see how it comes out. Then we're going to bring it out, let it cool. All right. I'm going to move it around, try to spread it out a bit. Just spreading it out a bit here. I want to try to make it as even as possible in the pans. There's a lot of baking I plan on doing with the holidays coming up. So I said, if I'm going to do something today, let me do the coconut cake. This one is going to give me the biggest smile on my little sad face. Okay. Now we're going to go and spread the other one. I think I did pretty good. I evened them out. The amount of mixture is about even in each pan. I'm going to show it to you. See? It's kind of nice. It's even. I like to flatten it out. Flatten it out as much as I can. And the reason you want to flatten it out is because the way you leave it is the way it's going to bake. It's going to bake that same way. So you need, the way you put it in the oven, I mean. The way you put it in your oven is the way that it's going to continue to bake. So if you want it to be baked lopsided, don't flatten it out. Don't flatten it out. Okay. Now I think they're somewhat flat. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the bowl. Now this is really important. And you got to like drop it. Because you want to make sure there are no air pockets. So you just go ahead and drop it a couple of times. In case there are air pockets, you close them up that way. Alrighty, so this is part 1 of the coconut cake. And I'm going to go ahead on and put this in the oven for at least an hour and a half, or perhaps maybe a little less. I'm going to watch the stove. I'll check on it in about 45 minutes. And we're going to be back. Okay, so this is part 1. Don't forget to chime in for part 2 when we get back. All right? Love you.